If you are just joining us, you are seeing live pictures of thousands of teachers and supporters marching up Queen Street on their way to Albert Park. Now, if you can see behind me, a number of supporters have started to gather here in Albert Park. They've set up a base here as well where those thousands of teachers and supporters will end up. And they are protesting as part of 50,000 teachers and principals across the country today for better pay and better work conditions. As we mentioned earlier, it comes after last-minute discussions between unions and the Education Ministry. Now, the NZEI have said since then that while these discussions have been worthwhile, there needs to be significant improvements on previous offers. So if you are just joining us, thousands of teachers and supporters making their way up Queen Street here in Auckland on their way to Albert Park.
Teachers, you're amazing, you're going online, you're doing amazing stuff. Yeah, but when it came to pay negotiations, they forgot our name. They forgot all their wonderful work and rhetoric that they were talking about. Teachers need to be acknowledged. Principals need to be supported to do their jobs. Principals need the opportunity to offer teachers conditions that they'll survive in. Let's have some chance, please. There we go.
If you're just joining us, you're seeing live footage from Queen Street where thousands of teachers and supporters have begun marching up to Albert Park here in Auckland. They are joining 50,000 teachers and principals across the country who have walked off the job today to protest for better pay and better working conditions. Some news coming in from around the country. Thousands of protesters, teachers and supporters and principals have gathered in Christchurch, many in Wellington too. Around 200 people have turned out in central Whanganui to support the strike. The Whanganui High School Careers Advisor and teacher Paul Keane said teachers faced huge pressure from curriculum change to NCEA and upskilling in terms of numeracy, literacy and tikanga. So there are many teachers, principals, supporters, parents across the country gathering today in protest of better pay in particular. Now, it does come after last-minute conversations between unions and the Education Ministry, but they say that significant improvements need to be made on those previous offers. So if you are just joining us, you're seeing live pictures now on Queen Street, thousands of teachers and supporters making their way up here to Albert Park.
Your parents were the first teachers of you. Remember how good they were. Remember how much knowledge they passed on to you. And remember how quickly you gave your child at 5 years old to us. And then we looked after them. We see some children more than their parents do. They come to school all day long. And we love that opportunity. We embrace that opportunity. We rise up, we lift others up. Teaching, we didn't get in teaching for the money. How no? I have 3 degrees. Yet I am well below anyone a 3 degree ship, but I'm passionate about what I do. I turn up to my school where I
march takes place. They are heading up here to Albert Street, where a number of supporters have begun gathering behind me, and they sort of set up a base here as well. Meanwhile, some word from the ground. A third-year university student training to be a primary teacher held a sign saying, "I earned more money picking grapes than I will as a beginning teacher." She said given teachers worked more than a 40-hour week, she would earn less teaching than she did picking grapes for minimum wage. She said that they love the job, but the conditions could be better.
But some of us, like some of you, never stopped working. We worked right through. We haven't stopped, and we are now focusing on our own well-being. We need these things, what's an NCR collective, to ensure teachers who are the last people to have a rest, to ensure principals who are the last ones to debate. So come on, government, we are here today. We are human beings too. I read this one from Boston. We are human beings too, with families, not robot machines. We can't grow our dreams if we don't have support. Where is the sense of belonging? We deserve better. We're not here to compare ourselves to any other sector. We are just here to say this is our reality, and this is how we fix it. The last settlement, we were promised a table to go and talk about some of the things that we didn't win. We're still talking about it. So we're back. We got unfinished business. We ain't got all over quickly. So welcome, people, communities. We need your support. Teachers are here today. We've got kindergarten teachers, primary school teachers, high school, secondary school teachers. We've got primary principals, area school principals. We're here to say we messed it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing well. Are we okay at the back there? We've even got Darth Vader. He's here. He needs the force. Because he's sweating like anything, I'm sure. What a wonderful opportunity for PPTA to stand with the NZEI today to show New Zealand that we mean business. We need quality teachers, not cheap teachers. If you want cheap teachers to teach your children, what are you going to get? You must invest. Why should a CEO earn $400,000-$500,000?
If you're just joining us, you are seeing pictures live from Queen Street as thousands of teachers, principals and supporters march their way to Albert Park in protest, joining 50,000 across the country protesting for better pay and better work conditions. There have been some last-minute discussions between unions and the Education Ministry ahead of this strike, but they said there needs to be significant improvements on the previous offers. That has what has ultimately driven teachers and principals across the country to this. Now, these are scenes live from Auckland. There are protests in Christchurch, Wellington, across the country. You can see many have signs, flags, They were slowly making their way up Queen Street. We've seen one university student hold a sign that says she made more money picking grapes than she will when she starts teaching. Many have said that they love the job, but the conditions could be better. Now, this march has understandably disrupted public transport in and around Auckland's Queen Street this morning. Meanwhile, in other parts of the country, around 200 people have turned out in central Whanganui to support the strike today. Whanganui High School Careers Advisor said that teachers faced huge pressure from curriculum change to NCEA and upskilling too. So there is mass support right across the country. Thousands have turned out in Christchurch, many in Wellington as well. But what you're seeing here are live pictures from Queen Street in Auckland, where there are thousands of teachers and supporters marching through Queen Street. They're going to make their way to Albert Park, where there has been a base set up. There are some supporters at Albert Park already that will join up with them when they arrive. Schools and kindergartens around the country have closed today as teachers and principals take to the streets to call for better pay and work conditions. 50,000 to be accurate there. There are about 50,000 across the country, teachers and principals from the Post-Primary Teachers Association, the PPTA, and the New Zealand Educational Institute. That's the NZEI. So what you're seeing here are live pictures from Auckland on Queen Street, where thousands of teachers, principals and supporters have begun their march. They are marching to Albert Park. Now, the Education Minister, Jan Tinetti, says she is disappointed the situation's come to this, but is focused on working to find a solution quickly. She said that this is her life's work and she stood where they're standing today in the past. Secondary school teachers represented by the PPTA last month agreed to strike after negotiations failed to progress. And last week, primary, kindergarten and area school teachers, along with primary and area school principals, voted to join them. Auckland is set to host two main rallies today, one in the central city, which are the pictures you are seeing currently, and one in West Auckland. Teachers, childcare workers and supporters taking part in the Central City Rally had assembled at Fort Street this morning. Before starting their march, they are marching up to Albert Park, and they will be at Albert Park from around midday today. Auckland Transport said there may be road closures, but disruptions to motorists and those moving around the city should be fairly minimal, as well as other areas across the country.
We are
If you are just tuning in, welcome into our live coverage of the teachers' strike across the country. 50,000 teachers and principals have walked off the job today protesting for better pay and better work conditions. I'm based here in Albert Park. You might be able to hear there's some music that's been playing behind me. A few supporters have started to gather. What they're doing is they're waiting for thousands of teachers and supporters who are making their way now up Wellesley Street. You'll be seeing live pictures of that. They gathered down at Fort Street this morning. They're marching up and they're going to gather here probably closer towards midday, we estimate. It has disrupted transport in and around Auckland Central this morning and other parts of the country too. There are protesters in Wellington and Christchurch. In fact, organisers of the Christchurch rally have actually asked supporters to keep their signs in case they have to do that again. Now, back here at the Central Auckland protest, you can see we've had some vision of that large banner at the front of teachers and supporters on their march. It says value tamariki, value educators. That is the overall message here today as they protest for better pay. They say that there just needs to be significant improvements on previous offers, and that's ultimately what's driven them to this today here in Auckland and across the country. So we'll cross back live now to our footage on the ground. I think they're up at Wellesley Street now, making their way up towards Albert Park in Auckland.
But you know, there's a big ass team here. So we've got Albert Park, the place where some of you train, the place where some of you found your first love, or had your first challenge. Probably at a different time to what we had today. What we have today is an underinvested in, undervalued, and under-resourced workforce in the primary, kindergarten, primary, and secondary sectors.
You are currently seeing pictures of thousands of teachers, principals, parents, supporters, even students walking up Wellesley Street toward Albert Park here in central Auckland. They are joining 50,000 teachers and principals who have walked off the job today in protest for better pay and better working conditions. Some of the signs we've seen in the protest say value tamariki, value educators. We've seen one student teacher with a sign that read she earns more picking grapes drapes than she will when she starts teaching. Now they're making their way up to Albert Park where I'm based currently. I can actually hear the chants, I can hear the march coming up. There's a lot of music playing as well here behind me. They're ultimately going to end up back here where they've set up a bit of a base for the teachers rally. As I'm speaking, I can hear it growing louder and louder, those chants, as that march makes its way up Wellesley Street. They should be here very shortly, and we will continue to roll you live coverage as it happens. The crowd, as you can see, is now marching up Wellesley Street and is about to turn into Princess Street, where they will meet in Albert Park for the rally. Passing cars are tooting in support as the crowd chants and cheers. It's getting quite loud here in Albert Street. We can hear the chants as they approach closer. Now, you're seeing pictures from a central Auckland teachers rally. There is one in West Auckland today as well as across the country. Hundreds have turned out in Christchurch and Wellington and other regions too. The protest is made up not only of teachers and principals, who among 50,000 of them have walked off the job today, but you've got teachers, supporters, you've got student teachers, even students themselves. We've received some pictures of 6-year-olds holding signs that read, "When you made us the offer, did you forget we teach maths? And how can we put students first when the government puts teachers last?" So a wide range of people out here supporting our educators, our teachers across the country today and here in Auckland. So we've been following the rally that started up in Fort Street this morning. They gathered there and they started making their way up Queen Street, disrupting public transport in and around the city, but they're making their way up towards Albert Park where they will be gathering shortly. joined now by a primary school teacher, Gabriel Hughes. Now, Gabriel, this is quite significant. We can actually hear the march coming in, getting quite loud now. Do you want to tell me a bit about why you're here today and how significant this protest is?
It's massive. It's such an important and a critical time for us to be addressing this issue, and particularly with the rise of inflation and things like that. We're here seeking compensation and to have equity in terms of pay for our teachers for the amount of work that they're doing for our tamariki. I don't speak for myself. I speak for the hundreds of teachers that I've worked with and been a colleague to over the years, and I see how much hard work gets put in and how many hours they put into this job. And it's not the 40-hour week that is often being described. It's you know, the endless hours after school, weekends, before school, doing coaching practices and things like that, and being able to educate ourselves in a way that allows us to provide a better future for our tamariki and make sure that they're getting the education that they deserve.
How long have you been a teacher for?
Oh, I was trying to do the math on this the other day. It's 9 years now, so this is my 9th year of teaching. I started as a secondary teacher and made my way into primary teaching, and like I said, I've seen teachers all across the board in all different areas and seen the hard work that they put in, and I'd like to see them fairly compensated for the work that they do.
Across those 9 years, is this the most significant form of protest you've been part of or seen?
Yeah. So as a teacher and an active member of the union, it's incredibly important for us to turn out for each other, and I think that's what we're seeing here today. There's a lot of signs out there asking for us to don't make me use my teacher voice, and I'm glad to see teachers out there using their voices today.
And what does it feel like, I guess, seeing the support from, I know there's many teachers and principals protesting today, but parents and even students themselves and just everyday Kiwis out there supporting you guys. What does that mean? It
means everything. I think during the lockdowns we had a lot of outreach from parents who recognised firsthand how challenging it can be to help their kids with their education, and to have them support us and to have them have our backs means everything to us.
And just finally, I know the protest, the message is better pay, better working conditions. Ultimately, what would you like to see from the government?
We'd like to have pay would be a massive thing. However, like I said to you before, it extends further than just the pay. It extends to professional development and hours and opportunity for us to be able to educate ourselves in order to better help educate our students and our tamariki.
Hey, thank you so much for your quick chat. Thank you for all the amazing work you do. Thank you.
Awesome, everybody. We made it up Queen Street. We are here at Albert Park, ready for the most important part, the rally. But please keep moving to the far side of this building. There's heaps of grass on the other side. But we got some swimmers. She's drowning. Save that woman. Save that woman, everybody. Yeah, drowning. We're all drowning at this time. We sweat from that blood. Come on, move to the other side. Please keep coming through. Estimate first, close to 9,000 here today. So keep moving. Do not ask me how I got that number. But there's more damages. Still right across. Keep it on coming in. Great to see you all here. Windy Ridge School, that's full sign. Glenfield College. Welcome into Park. What have we got there? Hey guys, coming through. Oh, in the house. We were hard. Come on in, everybody. Move to the far side. Don't climb any trees. No one will care if you fall. Margaret Bridge School, gonna start out for you here.
Nice. Well, I've got another teacher here with me today, Maya McCurry. The march has actually joined us from behind, as you can see. Now, you were part of the march. What was that like?
Amazing, incredible. There's such an atmosphere out there. There's so much passion and so much drive and just this need to see change.
And we know so many teachers and principals have walked off the job, such as yourself, to protest here, but I'm imagining you will have had other supporters, parents, just everyday Kiwis join as well?
Yes, absolutely. There's all walks of life out there with us today. We've been having people toot their horns. We had the builders on the building sites shouting and waving out to us as well. It was fantastic.
And what was that like? And I guess how significant is that? It must feel quite special to know you've got that support.
It's really important to feel like we have that understanding from the public about how significant our job is. You know, teaching's the backbone of any functioning society. We teach the future teachers, the future lawyers, the doctors, the nurses, the builders. You know, everybody comes through a school.
Such an incredible and important job, as you say. How long have you been teaching for?
Do I have to say that? 22 years. 22
wow.
years, yes.
So you've been in this industry for a really long time. You must have seen, I guess you've been part of seeing the change or somewhat lack of change over that time?
Lack of change, yeah. There has been change, but not necessarily for the better.
And so how significant is today in comparison to, previous sort of protests and strikes? Is this, one of the biggest that you've been part of and seeking for the most significant change?
This is incredibly important because all the sectors have combined. We have primary school principals, area school principals, area school teachers, primary school teachers, kindergarten teachers and secondary school teachers. I can't overemphasise the importance of the fact we've all come together and said enough is enough, we need change.
If there was one key message you would like to get out to Kiwis or the government today, what would that be?
Change. We need change. We need better resources. We need the equipment to do our jobs and to actually do justice for those children in our care.
And just finally, do you want to talk me through, I guess, what the proceedings are here? The march has joined, and is this going to be somewhat of a base and a rally for the next few hours, or what's going to be happening?
Yeah, so we've got some speakers lined up. We've got representatives of each sector. We've got the acting president of PPTA and the current president of NZEI ready to speak. The secretary of the NZCTU, she's come to speak. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about it.
And just finally as well, I'm just curious what support you may have had from your own students in your class. Have they talked to you about this at all?
I teach very young children, and mainly it's, we get a day off school. However, I have a child who's in year 3, and you'll be surprised at how much they actually understand and how much they appreciate what we do for them.
That's incredible. Thank you very much for your time and all you do. Thank you.
Tuaco Primary. Where's Mr. Will? Oh, yes, welcome. Helston Intermediate. Anybody in from Helston Intermediate? Epsom Girls Grammar. Hey, are they? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, today, big shout out to all the kindergarten teachers. Hell, here. Who's looking after all the underbikes? You had to go back to work. Your work is so tough, kindergarten teachers. You secondary teachers and primary teachers think you got it tough. Spend 5 minutes in one of their centres. You'll see the realities of life. Howard College. Cody Dance School in West. PPTA. Marston College. He's here with Ben's friends. Keep coming, everybody. Cornfire Intermediate School. Pocatello College. Jean Benton. Howdy, baby, here. Margaret College. NC. Palmyra Bridge. Teacher aides are here with us. Westlake Boys. Manila East. Manuka Primary. Royal Lake Intermediate. Drury School. Tuaco College. Henderson High School. I'm doing the roll here. Western Springs College. Papakura Normal. Oranga. Wakaranga School. Albany Senior High School. Mangatawhiri Soul Charge Principal does everything. The Lawns. The Maramarua School. Pakuranga Intermediate. Wilson School. Pukekawa. Gindawi College. Glen Eden Intermediate. Oh, I've been there. I've done some PD there one time. Blockhouse Bay Primary School. Hobsonville. Westlake Girls. The boys are over there. So girls. Auckland Grammar School. There's no flooding there, so they're turned up today. One Tree Hill School. Sorry, One Tree Hill College. Used to be Penrose, I think, back in my day. Rightio, we're still coming in. We got to the back of the line yet? Waitakere College. Papakura High School.
We are live here from Albert Park, where thousands of teachers, principals, parents, supporters have marched from Fort Street this morning up here to Albert Park for a teachers' rally, joining around 50,000 teachers and principals who have walked off the job today to protest for better pay and better work conditions. Now, Jane, would you like to tell me a little bit about what you do?
I work for Northern Health School, and we look after the students that are too unwell to be at school. So we are very supportive of, the whole aspect of supporting. We're part of that whole collective, and we work in a different field and together with them, sort of thing.
Yeah, so all kind of working together in that aspect.
Yeah.
And you've got a bunch of teachers here as well behind us.
Yeah, we have. So there's a Northern Health School group, part of our large group of 170 teachers that work across the country, across the Upper North Island.
Yeah. So what's it been like seeing so many people gather here, and so many teachers as well as just everyday Kiwis and supporters out here backing you?
It's unbelievable. We've walked up from Fort Street, every building there's people waving, cheering, and it affects everybody, it does. And like a lot of the placards are really true. What they're saying is that teaching makes a lot of the jobs. It makes it connects everybody. So it's really great to see that support.
Yeah, we've been following the march live this morning. We've seen a few of those placards, and some of the messages, as you say, are so true. And definitely, I think, really hit quite deep, some of the messages that I've seen as well.
They are, and a lot of students will always remember special moments in their lives that teachers have created, but also the teachers, we've got special moments that we've been lucky enough to be part of in this profession, because it's not a job to us, it's a career, it's a lifestyle, and we all want to be here, and but at the same time it has to have value, and it has to have the mahi behind it, so it is fantastic. So we've got more people in our group now. Fantastic, yeah.
How significant is this protest today?
I think it is hugely significant, and it's not only this group, but we know that there's big rallies around the other parts of the country and also around Western. Some of our teachers have joined big groups over there. I mean, you're coming to work this morning, there were so many people on street corners, and I was even part of tooting for other people when I drove in, so that is just, fantastic.
And if you had and I've asked a few people this morning, if you had one message that you would like to put out to Kiwis or the government, what would that be?
What would that be? That would be, that it is the foundation of all connections with everybody. It is the foundation that our young people need to have, and if you want them to be in school, you need to support all the systems for allowing that to happen.
Awesome, thank you very much. Was there anything else you wanted to add today?
No, just thank you for the opportunity, and we are here to support everybody, both families, whānaus, akonga, all of our colleagues, the mahi that they do, so fantastic.
Thank you, and thank you so much for all the incredible work you guys do. So we are here live at Albert Park, where the march has joined up, and they are rallying along with around 50,000 teachers and principals around the country today. Awesome, we're out, guys.
Ko hau tētahi o ngā tangata hei waiata atu ki a koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Anō, miha tiki te mana whenua o tia ki aua, mana whenua o tōrana tira, mana whenua o Ngāti Raukaua. Nā mahara mai koutou, e mihi atu ki a koutou. Tūtawa mai i runga, tūtawa mai i raro, tūtawa mai i waho, tūtawa mai i roto. Kia tau ai te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki te ao katoa. Ti hei! Whakatakata hau ki te tunga, whakatakata hau ki te uru, whakatakata hau. Te tonga kia mākinga kina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tau. E hia kia kāpura, e tiro, e huka, e haru, ti hei!
Ensuring that we've got the best support for our tamariki and ensuring that for our
no pressure. Should we just get just the principals to do this one? Okay, you're the leaders. You know how to lead this, okay? So, what we say together is 1, 2, 3, 4. Principals are the very core. Say it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Principals are the very core. It's really good when you up the volume. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Principals are the very core. 5, 6, 7, 8. Carry the burden and the weight. One more what?
One more chance.
One more chance?
Let's support the teachers.
Let's support the teachers. Let's support the teachers. Let's support the teachers. But I'm here having fun, so that's the main thing. Yeah, and I'm going to look at my sheet of paper that tells me what to do. And it says now, there's appropriate playlist playing in the background to keep the buzz up and the crowd entertained. That was us singing, so yeah, that's great, we've done that. And we're opening Karakia Waisa, done that. No one did that. Hello guys, welcome. I'm Karen Leary. I'm your MC for today. It's lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And obviously, yeah, like I said, kia ora koutou, kula manaka, malolele. Thank you all for being here. But thank you more for being teachers and principals. The job you do is so important and so valuable for not only Tamariki, whānau, community, but our whole entire country. So thank you all for being here and representing. Thanks for those people in the back who like that. That's good. I thought there'd be more people, but these guys weren't that bothered by that. I'm going to start with one of the most, I think, possibly the funnest part of today, and that's the health and safety briefing. Thank you. And the only one I've got is basically, if you need first aid, there are 2 first aid stations. One is there. Hang on. They're by some chairs, I think. Yeah. So if you just count the number of rows back to the closest chair, then you can get first aid if you need it. Just put your hand out somewhere. You're all teachers. For goodness sakes. It's going to be fine. Now, my next job is to introduce some member leaders. I'm introducing Davina Marshall as the Wellington Area Council Chair, and Kevin Green. They're going to come up and say some amazing words, and I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Kia ora koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai, te whānau, nzherald.co.nz. me te whānau pipitia te wehingarua, ko Kevin Gregoho. It really just seems to me to be so appropriate to have Karen O'Leary with us today, outside these, probably the most paranormal buildings in Wellington. Yeah, it took a while to dream that one up. On a much more serious note, the rangatahi and tamariki that we teach are the future of Aotearoa. And the only way to guarantee that future is to ensure that they have well-trained and well-resourced teachers preparing them for it. Commerce teacher with economics, and I know better than, well, as well as anyone, that you cannot invest in the past. And any forward-thinking government must see that an investment in education will pay itself forward for decades to come. It's time for the Ministry of Education to bring our members an offer that addresses the decline in our pay and conditions. It's time for them to address the growing issues with teacher recruitment and retention. Earlier this week, Statistics New Zealand published the food inflation figures for the last 12 months. We all know that inflation is at 7.3%, but Statistics New Zealand told us that food inflation is at 15%. Look, it doesn't matter if you can buy a cheaper mobile phone if you can't afford to buy bread and butter and cheese. It's time for the government to listen to their own economic advisors about the cost of living and ensure that they pay our profession and that pay stays ahead of inflation. I want to hear a really, really big shout out, a big cheer for our kāko teachers in kindergarten. Yeah! And in primary kura, yeah! And let's have a really special cheer for our Tumuaki principals. Yeah! Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora. Ki te kōtahi, ki te kākaho, ka whati. Ki te kapuia, e kore, e whati. When we stand alone, we are vulnerable. But when we stand together, we are unbreakable. Today we stand together as educators, a professional group of people who are passionate about educating children, teens, and yes, even young adults. We are here today, however, to make sure our voices are heard, because we have had enough, and we are saying, Minister, we deserve better, and so do our students. There is nothing, and I say nothing, in our claims that could even remotely be considered selfish wants. We are simply asking for what we need to teach and be the best that we can be. It is time to think about our well-being and to listen to our voices. I know that our speakers after me will be more explicit about the needs of the sectors that they work in. And I hope, and I really, really hope, that the ears that need to hear, hear. That they hear their hearts and the intent of their stories, and that this is our lived reality. A teacher is a teacher is a teacher. A principal is a principal. Or, for our kindergarten colleagues, a head teacher. We all know that you cannot draw water from a well that's dried up. But that is exactly what is happening to all of us. We have for decades given our time, sacrificing our personal lives to get things done and to stay on top of what is needed by the students we are charged with teaching. Why? Firstly, because of our passion. But more importantly, it is important that the ministry knows we do it because this is what the Ministry of Education has mandated us to do. Minister, we step up every time there is a change to our founding documents. We step up to fill any gaps whenever there is a need in our communities. We stepped up during COVID, going back into the classrooms. Not even being considered essential workers at first, and then it wasn't our well-being considered when we had to step into our classrooms without protective gear during the first lockdown. What do we need? We need time. Got ya. We lead. We keep up to date with the ministry, Teachers Council guidance, understand property and finance, provide pastoral care. Aroha mai. Support students who are dysregulated, need medication. We plan, we teach, we continue to learn. We maintain relationships with our families and students. We stay up to date to learn about some of the special conditions and or behaviour needs our students have to support them. With the majority of this time being outside of the so-called 40 hours, Monday to Friday, we are supposed to be working. I think we can all attest to this fact. Burnout is real for all of us. Whether you are a beginning teacher, an experienced teacher, a principal, we are saying we are worn out. What do we need? Resourcing. We have class sizes that are way too high, especially if you take into account the variety of needs within each of these. We are dealing with many complex student needs while ensuring the remainder of our class are also getting the best of us. Staffing a school is becoming challenging, but we are not just talking about staffing, we are talking about all of the things to run a modern day school. Buildings, technology, furniture that is fit for purpose. And finally, yes, pay is important. For some of us, we are already thinking about the impact of today on us financially and know that we are not going to be able to pay some things in order to put food on the table. It is heartbreaking to hear people seeing the only way out being to go to a food bank to get food, cancel insurances, and there is more. We are also losing amazing educators who have chosen to sacrifice their chosen vocation. But can I say this? I want to finish by thanking those that sit at the negotiating table on our behalf, fighting for what is fair and just. Me mahi tahi tātou, mō te oranga o te katoa. We should work together, Minister, for the well-being of everyone. If you are a PPTA Hutt Valley member, give me a cheer. If you are a PPTA Wellington Region member, give me a cheer. Kia ora.
Hold this cone. Yes, thank you. I don't mind. You both come. It's a big job. I need 2 people. Okay, so you just got to hold it up like that. And then why don't you hold the mic?
in Tauranga who were very busy and active this morning outside my office in Tauranga, and was delighted to see the videos of that coming through. Thank you, and I know it's a really hard situation for us to be in, but I actually want to say very, very sincerely a big thank you for standing up for the kids in this country, for standing up for your conditions. It's a hard position to be in because I have been where you are. I have stood out there right where you are now and I have protested. I have also been a teacher and a principal, and so I absolutely know and value the work that you do. I have been in this position for around 6 weeks, just over 6 weeks now. I know that we can do better, and I am committed to doing better. I know that the last couple of years have been absolutely horrific across the country, but particularly tough for you in the classrooms across this country. You have done an amazing job in some absolutely terrible and tough conditions. I know that there are areas that need sorting. I know that there are areas like learning support that are completely broken. I know that we have to do better, and I commit to you that we will do better. Today, everybody, is your day of action. You are absolutely letting this country know how valuable your job is. Today is your day of action. Tomorrow we are back at the table. I am committing to getting this sorted. We value you, we absolutely see you, and we hear you. I look forward to my officials getting back to that table tomorrow. Ngā mihi nui, kia koutou. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
He honore, he kororia, he maungarongo ki te whenua, he whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. I just want to acknowledge and thank Minister Tiniri for fronting up today to speaking to all of us. I hear the passion in your voice. I hear how desperate you are for change. And I can say, working with Minister Tiniri in her previous role as principal, that she totally understands where we're coming from. She has been there with us, holding the placards, calling out for change. And we are trusting in you, Minister, to honour your promise, to review the offers that we've been given and deliver something that will make a difference for our children, their parents, our teachers, whether they be at early childhood, kindergarten, area schools, primary schools, secondary schools. And for our tumuaki, who keep everything going. For the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about a person that is in each one of your schools. I want you to listen to me and concentrate and visualise the person that I speak of. In your school is someone whose job is almost entirely a mystery to everybody else. person every single day is continuous juggling of pressing demands from all corners for all manner of skills and works, whether it be finance, property, employment, recruitment, leadership, coaching, mentoring, curriculum development, strategic planning, reporting, pastoral care, behaviour care, HR, PR, web design, project management, crisis management, health and safety, mediation, policy expert, project management, and more. And add to that the tidal wave of initiatives that keep coming that we as principals are just expected to implement without any extra support, without any extra resources. Who is this person that I'm speaking of right now? Who is this person that I'm describing right now? Our principals. And for our principal colleagues in our smaller schools, they do all of that juggling. They get the tidal wave of initiatives to implement, and they do it all on top of classroom teaching. That is not okay. I want to thank all the area school teachers, kindergarten and primary, for making this space here in the front for our tumuaki, for wrapping yourselves around them like a korowai. Because for us, our path is quite often extremely lonely. The weight of the responsibility for our children and young people's success and achievement, the responsibility for our teachers and support staff, for our parents and our communities, it all falls on our shoulders. And that weight bears heavier still when our schools are also understaffed. At my school, the needs are this big. The resourcing I get is about this big. So you don't need rocket science to know that I have a serious problem. This is the stuff that wakes me up at night with anxiety. What am I supposed to do about that situation? Do I ignore the needs? Do I tell my whānau, go somewhere else? It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy that this is the state of our education system. Our children and their whānau deserve better. Are dressed in black today. So this is what I want you to do to acknowledge your principals. I want you for a moment to focus in on them. Picture your principal. Picture a principal you know. I'm going to ask you, lower all of your flags, all of your placards, put them down, hands by your side. I want you to bow your head in quiet contemplation. Think about our principles and the grief that we carry. Take this moment to think of us, the few people that carry the many. And as you lift your eyes again, think about how it is that schools keep going. And I believe we keep going for no other reason goodwill has been used as the fuel subsidy to keep the education system going. We're constantly giving our own resources, our family time, and I can see lots of children here with signs acknowledging their parents who are working every weekend. We give up our physical health, our mental health, and we keep giving because we care about our children. We care about inclusion. We care about the success of our Māori and Pacifica children and young people. We care about creating a more equitable society. We care because we know that when our schools thrive, our community thrive. Today, we say to our government, we say to Minister Teneri, it's time, it really is time, that you step up to your responsibilities to our communities and provide the conditions and the remuneration to attract and retain teachers and principals, to resource our schools adequately for the needs of our community. These are simple asks so that we can do our jobs effectively. Our goodwill is not education's fuel subsidy.
Protesting today if you're still teaching?
I've protested a number of times. I've stood out here and protested. I've also protested in different places. If the issue is something that was affecting me at that time, I would be absolutely out there protesting. Hard to say about if I'd be out there today because I'm not in their situation.
The crux of the issue is there's not enough money to give them what they're asking for.
It is way more than remuneration. It is about conditions as well. They've had a couple of really, like the rest of New Zealand, a couple of really tough years, but they have done an amazing job at keeping our young people at school, in schooling, and they continue to do that amazing job. So we've got to look at how do we ease that workload for our teachers.
So there is the money there.
Money is part of it. It's also conditions.
You said you understood the issues. What are the issues?
So we've got workload as an issue. They're talking about pay and remuneration. They're talking about class sizes. They're talking about learning support. Those are the key issues that I've heard from them. When we're talking about the primary principals, they're talking about the fact that the alignment between secondary and primary can be a bit different as well. So I have a pretty good understanding of what those are because I've lived and breathed these for a number of years.
Both unions say they need to see significant improvements to go forward, but you've said you're optimistic about reaching settlement. Those are quite different positions. What makes you think that you are optimistic to reach settlement?
I'm confident because of the progress that I've been told by both sides has been made in the last wee while. I'm confident that we can get back to that table, and that's as far as I will say because then it becomes up to the officials to do the bargaining.
Any reassurances you can give our parents that you're trying to minimise disruption through this?
Yeah, I can tell our parents that I am working really hard to minimise disruptions. I don't want to see a strike. What I can tell the parents is that the unions tell me they don't want to see any further strikes either. That tells me we're both in the position of wanting to see a resolution here.
Just back on the question about money. There is enough money to pay the wage demands.
So, at the moment, the money that has come through is in line with the public service pay agreements that have been developed for the whole of the public
service. That has been cut differently, and the only one that's been made public at this point in time is the primary teachers' negotiations, although some people have seen the secondary claim. But the primary ones have been cut differently to give those initial teachers that come out of the profession a really good boost. And so we've got to see if that's sitting right with those teachers as well. My officials need to see that. Don't want to go into whether there should be more or not, because that's part of good faith negotiations.
The question was, is there enough money to pay that real wage, so they're not getting a real wage cut?
Again, I don't want to get into that because that goes over into the good faith negotiations, and I don't want to breach that. Right. I need to leave it there. Right, I've got to go because I've got 3 questions. Thank you. 3 questions.